Yo, what's good? Big Z here, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make this. The song is called Jackie Chan by Tiesto, Dzeko, featuring Preme and Malone, and it's at the top of the charts right now, so let's jump right into how it's made. I'll go ahead and start with the lead sound because it's the main part of the drop. So there's two lead layers, they're the same exact serum patch, they're just one octave up from each other. So oscillator A is just a saw wave with 7 voices with a little bit of detune. Then oscillator B is in the vowel section in this ooh-wah-ooh wavetable, and it also has 7 voices in unison. I have LFO2 here modulating the fine tune of each oscillator to give it more of a retro feel. The noise oscillator is turned on, and I have AC hum 1 in there. In the effects section, there's just some dimension expander, some phaser, and some chorus. The phaser is what really gives it that funky sound. The second lead layer is literally just the exact same sound, except each oscillator is pitched up an octave. In the mix underneath these lead layers, there's some piano and guitar and some synth plucks going on. I'll solo the piano and the guitar because it's what gives the song its rhythmic background. So anytime you're dealing with a real instrument in an electronic setting, there's a couple things you're going to want to do to the MIDI to make it sound more real. So in this case, I've moved all the notes slightly off the grid to give it more of a human feel. And you can do this in any DAW, but the way you do this in Logic is you go down to Functions, MIDI Transform, and then Humanize. And this value right here selects how much you want the notes to be randomized off the grid. Then you hit Select and Operate, and that's all you have to do. Also, you don't want all the notes to have the same velocity, so you go into Functions, MIDI Transform, and Random Velocity, and you pick between 2 values here and set between them and hit Select and Operate, and then it'll randomize the velocity of all the notes in your MIDI file. The piano is a contact piano called the Grandeur, and I have some EQ on there, just getting rid of some lows and highs. The guitar is a contact guitar that comes with a factory library, and it's the jazz guitar setting. And I did the same thing with the MIDI as with the piano, in that I randomized the location of the notes, and I randomized the velocity of the notes too. And there's a ton of processing on this guitar to make it sound more real, and I'll go through all that here. So first EQ looks like this. Got some OTT on there. Then I've got some delay to give it some more movement. Then I've got some more EQ, cutting off more of the low mids. Then I've got some transient designers to bring out the transients of the guitar strums. Then I've got one more EQ, just cutting off even more of the mids. So sometimes it takes a lot of EQing and tweaking around to make these sample-based instruments sound real, but it's definitely worth it in the end. There's also some plucks in the background of the mix that sound like this. And what that sound is just 2 square waves, one with 1 voice of unison, one with 6. That's pretty heavily detuned, except there's this envelope here that's affecting the detune and the low pass filter here. And here's the EQ I have on that square pluck. So you'll notice in the drop the lead sound slides down an octave sometimes. That gives it a cool turntable type effect. So what I did was bounce part of the lead section to make that sound, and I sampled it, and had it go down 12 semitones in pitch. Here's the bass sound I used. I wanted the bass sound to sound like a real bass guitar, so for that I used Nexus, and I used a preset called E-Bass 2. Underneath that, I just have a basic sub layer. It's just a sine sub. Then hear what the drums sound like all together. There's a ton of different drum layers. So what you should take away from this is just all like the little garage snare hits in between the main claps, which is what really gives the song its rhythm. So here's what all the snares and stuff sound like by itself. Alright, that's pretty much it for this one. You guys can follow me on Instagram to stay up to date with what I'm doing, or check out my own music on Spotify below as well. Other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.